what is up, guy? You've got the Oracle there back for the finals with the sweet blue-red Jori En deck. And once again, we have a very sweet 7 that I'm gonna keep. Jori En is gonna be amazing if I can draw it this game. I think I've played it 4 of the 5 games I've played so far, something like that. And once he drew me half of my deck, that was quite sick. We might be playing the red-black colorless Eldrazi deck. No, we are playing red-blue actually, so someone else was doing that. Do I want to hemorrhage or anticipate here? Interesting. Don't think it matters too much. Guess I'll anticipate first so I have a bit more information about what I want to do. Guess I'll take the commando there. Expedite is really nice with Jori. That aside, you know, it's not the card I need the most. And I might actually expedite a commando next turn instead of hemorrhaging. On the other hand, I just drew a Nettle Drone. Which play is the best? I don't really know actually. I think that playing a creature, whether it be drone or commando, is better than using hemorrhage. Now I'm a bit unsure about which one is better. I guess I'll play the drone on the off chance that my opponent attacks and play a 2 toughness 3-drop, in which case I could you know, deal 1 damage, hemorrhage the 2-drop, and attack. As it seems like it is what's gonna happen there, which is great for me. And also this is better because next turn I can hemorrhage plus commando. So actually that will end up being much better for me. So I guess I figured out the right line. And I'm really happy that I kept the hemorrhage because I'd much rather kill that predator than the guide for now. And it is also sweet because the commando does block the guide very efficiently. And getting in for 3 damage with the drone is always sweet. Alright, as next turn I'm likely to play the negator, and I might I might be able to expedite it depending on whether or not I draw land. Anyway, that first few turns turned out very well for me. I'm a bit surprised that we are playing another blue deck though. Blue-red deck, I would say. Don't want to trade that for the guide. I think my play is just to Nether Drone and Negator and pass the turn, basically. As you can notice, it is a bit laggy. It's quite annoying. It takes quite a lot of time to just cast spell. I really hate that. I guess it's a bit less annoying on the viewer side, but when you are playing and you click on something and just nothing happens before a few minutes, it is always annoying. Coils on that is not great though, just because I can still use the ability, which could be relevant at some point, and it is quite a weak creature. Anyway, Cyclone Sire was good for my opponent there. Not much to say about that, as it shuts down my attacks quite efficiently. So I could expedite Surge that. I don't really need to do that though, since I can just cast the spell. I might just expedite to see if I can draw a spell though. Keeping expedite has value only if I get Jori En at some point. So I guess I'll expedite my negator for no real reason, to see if I can draw an interesting card. Zada's Command. Okay, that's definitely an interesting card, as it provides me with more pinging ability. And now this Tithing card is really mediocre for my opponent. So I'll be able to ping him or her for 2 each turn. If he wants to attack with the Cyclone Sire, I'll swing back for 2, which I don't think is going to be great for him unless he has another flying blocker. So I kind of like my chances there. We'll see how it goes. It is just rather annoying that it's a bit laggy, as I mentioned. There's not a whole lot I can do about that, though. Guess I'll Nether Drone. And for some reason, the opponent is not doing much. Not sure why that might be. Not sure. Maybe they are preparing a nasty trick. I'm not sure. Anyway, I think I'll just play my Wave Wing. If the opponent has some sort of counterspell, well, there's not a whole lot of things I can do about that, honestly. They might also analyze this. It's not very likely because the card is not great and I've taken 2 out of the draft. We'll see. Maybe nothing will happen. Seemed a bit weird. Unless the opponent has a very unlucky draw and does have 3 other land in hand. I don't really understand what's going on. Hopefully they don't play a 6-7 drop there. Or a 6-8 drop on the next turn. That being said, I have a good board. Not sure what's... The opponent is either having a really unlucky draw of some sort, or I don't know. I just don't really know what's happening there. Anyway, I think it is time to start attacking with the Wave Wing. We'll see what happens. Maybe the opponent has a bounce spell in hand, but it just conceded. A very weird game. My guess would be that the opponent kept Predator, Coral Elm, Cyclone Sire, and 4 lands, and drew 6 lands in a row, maybe. I don't really know what that was, but again, I kind of got lucky there. I think my deck is good, but the draws I made were just amazingly powerful. Alright, so we are playing kind of a mirror match. I would assume I have a bit more of removal and card advantage, which is probably a good news. The question now is, do I want Tears of Valakut? I've only seen a Cyclone Sire so far, and you know, I'm not sure that it's enough to make me want to have that in my main deck. Also, I've seen a creature that dies to Boiling Earth. Red-blue tends to have a decent amount of 1 toughness creature, though. Not sure. Given what I've seen so far, I feel like I will just keep the deck the way it is. And if I see more 1 toughness creature or more flyer, I might siding these tiers. I'm quite sure that the opponent also have the 2/4 Harvester of Sorrow flyer in his deck, since I think it's the guy or the girl I passed cards to. And maybe some Sphinx. I'm unsure. Do I want that Tears of Valakut? I don't think it's gonna be dead. I don't think it's very likely. So I guess I'll play that over an Expedite, and hopefully it will just not rot in my hand. And for the Boiling Earth, I guess we'll see. Even though blue-red tends to have a lot of 1 toughness creature, I would assume, and we've seen one, I don't think it is enough to make me want to side these in. And I guess I'm gonna take my second mulligan there, and my third, since those hands were absolutely awful. This is a decent 5 if I can draw lands, though. Island is perfect. So actually, despite mulliganing to 5, I might still do fine this game, as I have a very solid 5. Another salvo. Might not be easy to cast those salvo, but at least, you know, between Hemorrhage and Commando I have a bit of control over what will happen. Flame Seeker, as I drew a Negator. Guess I'll attack. I don't think my opponent is likely to block, though. And I think I'll just Hemorrhage right now. Don't think... cannot really think of a lot of what I could gain by waiting, and if the opponent has a random counterspell or a Titan Strength, that's really bad for me. And if I can ever draw a 3rd land, which I just did, I'll be able to fetch my forest and being quite close to cast almost anything in my deck, which is sweet. Pilgrim's Eyes is just amazing when you are mulliganing. It just and mulliganing and short on land. If you are mulliganing into a very heavy land hand, it is less good. But given what I have, it is just amazingly good for me. Because it just makes me have one more card. So since I got a card out of the Pilgrim's Eyes, and since I was on the draw, you know, I kind of get back to the amount of card I've lost by mulliganing. If what I said made any sense. Anyway, we drew another land, which is nice for the salvos. Thing is, I will have to kill that with a salvo. It will provide my opponent with a 3/3 creature though, which I don't like too much. But there's just not too much I can do about that. Guess I can salvo the creature if needed. But using 2 salvo on 1 creature is not really where you want to be at. Anyway, as I said, despite mulliganing to 5, this is a very good start for me, and I will not complain. Especially since I had some very good and lucky draws overall in this draft. As the opponent is thinking about his play, apparently, and I think we'll attack with a Cyclone Sire there. No attack. Think that is a good news for me. And now I can anticipate and salvo, which I do not mind. Yeah, that's just sweet. I think I will kill that. It provide my opponent with a creature, but there's just not too much I can do about that. And I got a Nissa's Judgment out of my anticipate, which is just one of the best thing I could dream of with Jori En, I think. So I guess I'll salvo that and attack with my squad. We'll see what happens. Maybe the opponent has a brute strength. Not sure. He might just have a bounce for one of my creature. Not sure. We'll see. We'll see. He might just do nothing. The opponent draws have been either really clunky or really weird, because not doing anything on turn 5, on turn 6 with all those lands seems a bit weird. Not sure. Maybe I'm just extremely lucky and the opponent is just flooding out. Yeah, that could be something. Entangler, sure, and I guess an attack for 3, I would assume. I might just Nissa's Judgment, targeting those 2 next turn. Even if the opponent has a bounce spell or burn spell, I'll still be able to... okay, Crash of Tentacles. That's quite good. Alright, so we are not the only one doing the search thing here. Alright. So I'm very likely to just lose if I don't top deck my clutch soon enough. On the other hand, I can Pilgrim's Eye for another land and Boulder Salvo that. And between the Eye and the Cyclone Sire, I have a bit of chump blockers available, and I'm at 20, so I don't feel like I'm in the worst shape. But that 8/8 is threatening. The good news is that any bounce spell deal with it basically. I guess I'll fetch an island there. And let's see what kind of answer I have. So clutch works well. That aside, I cannot really deal with that. But as I said, I have a few let me think for 2 seconds actually. As I said, I have a few ways to draw cards, so I might be able to find them. What I'm thinking about now is that I could actually be able to Nissa's Judgment plus salvo the Octopus on my next turn. Granted, the opponent doesn't do a bunch of threatening things and doesn't have a burn or bounce spell. That might be a bit too much to ask for. But since I only have one bounce spell in my entire deck, it might be the right line to take. Um, yeah, because basically the thing would take 5 from the Judgment, 4 from the Salvo. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for that line actually. If I draw the clutch, you know, it doesn't change much. I can still clutch the octopus. I might take 3 more damage there, which there's not much I can do about. And hopefully if the opponent doesn't have an instant answer to my that can deal with my creature, I might be able to kill that octopus if I ever draw a seventh land. Guess I'll take 11 there. Not my favorite, but not a whole lot I can do about that. As the opponent recast the Entangler, I draw another commando. Alright, that's not bad. Since those work well together and block my opponent attackers except for the Kraken. I guess I'll play the Negator now. And I just need a land to make that work. So hopefully the opponent just doesn't have some sort of trick and I should be fine. I think next turn I'm chump blocking that. I don't want to go to 1. That seems a bit bold against a red deck. And yeah, I might find a way to come back in the game. Alright, that's interesting. Let's turn off auto yield. I shouldn't have auto yielded, by the way, anyway, since turn off auto yield. Yeah. This means that the opponent is likely to have a burn or bounce spell in hand, which I cannot do much about. Or maybe they forgot about first strike. On the other hand, if they have that, I kind of want them to use it now and not when I try to judgment. Yeah, so I think I'll double block. If the opponent has something, well, it is a bit bad for me. I could also triple block actually. This might make sense. If the opponent does have nothing, it doesn't change anything, and if they have something, I actually kill that, which does matter. So I think I'll triple block there. And at least now the opponent is likely to use his okay, he had nothing. He just forgot about first strike, I assume. Weird. Anyway, that's good news, because it means he doesn't have anything to I mean, I think it would mean that my opponent does not have anything to deal with my thing at instant speed. So I'm quite sure that if I draw a land next turn, I just win. And I did. And even if I didn't, I would have played the Cyclone Sire and have a bit of more of time. So actually things are shaping up better now. So let's target my creatures first. Let's target this, and hopefully the opponent didn't have anything, but I would assume they would have used that during the last combat step if they had something. Or maybe I'm just getting played like a fool, which could be another option. Weird. We managed to deal the damages. So unless the opponent has the Abstruse Interference, the count spell, I guess this Kraken is dying. Which kinda saved me. Alright. Great. I think I'd rather attack with that than using the ability. And it leaves me with enough blocker for what my opponent does have. And even if they find a removal, I have the Cyclone Sire on the back. So actually I like my chances now. And I'm really glad that I didn't salvo the land, because just found out another way to deal with the Crash of the Tentacles, and I think I'm quite sure that this and the clutch would be my only chances to deal with that. The other being double salvo, but by playing my salvo I would have rendered that impossible. Anyway, we drew an Expedite, which doesn't accomplish a whole lot, since I don't actually actually if I attack with everything, the opponent goes down to 2 and doesn't have any good block. And since I'm at 9, I think I can afford to take damages next turn. If the opponent add something like Rolling Thunder, I would assume they would have killed my things. So I don't think they have that. So I think I can afford to take damages next turn. Also, I'll keep that back. Alright. Well, first let's see if this resolve, which might not happen. And it seems like the opponent is stuck with lands in hand one more time. So if they have 2 lands in hand, this is 10 land, which I guess is 2 more than what I drew. So again, kinda lucked my opponent out there. But let's not assume victory before I actually win. But I kinda like my chances there. We'll see what happened during this attack though. I would assume that if the opponent had some sort of removal or trick, they would have attacked with the Jori En Avenger next turn. So I'm quite sure that they do not have a match going on. And if they take 9 there, they are dead to 2 Zadask Command trigger. Okay, a block here. Interesting. So a chump block on the commando taking 6. Okay, I can appreciate that. Hopefully the opponent doesn't have 2 burn spell in hand, but I think it is not likely since they would have used those earlier on. And apparently someone else built the Jori En Ruin Diver deck, which is really funny, especially since we meet in the finals. That's really funny. So Jori En for the win. How funny. Yeah, that was a really sweet draft. Whether I will win or lose this final, it would have been really nice and sweet. As the opponent apparently drew something of the Jori En Coral Elm. We'll see what it might be. A coils on my Cyclone Sire. That's quite good. As I drew a 9th land, I guess I'll attack with that, no reason not to. The opponent might find a way to come back in that game though. That Jori En Coral Elm Titan Coil turn was quite good for them. At least, well, this is quite good because of the Coral Elm and Jori En, I feel like my opponent is likely to attack me with a non-ground attacker, but here he kinda has to chump block. And I should have attacked with my commando to force another chump block. That would have been better than keeping those to cohort. And the opponent drew a 10th land, unfortunately, which is rather unlucky. So I guess that's gonna be game. On the other hand, by keeping those untapped, I think it was the right play. What I did was just the right play, just because it means that if the opponent doesn't draw a flyer, I can make sure they die next turn by cohorting now and on my turn. As if I attack, they would have been able to block and leave one more turn. So actually I made the right play there. And I guess that's going to be game and also match and draft. I hope you enjoyed those. I definitely had a lot of fun playing. Jori En was really sweet. And yeah, that's the end. Thank you for watching. And as I mentioned a few times, if you have any comment or advice on how I could make those better or more entertaining to you, feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, that's gonna be it. I guess I see you guys for another draft.